What is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you yet another Firefall gameplay video. In case you guys were wondering, my teeth are much better. My gums, actually, I guess I should say, have gotten so much better. I'm off the pain meds now, so I'm not all loopy, and I'm still taking my steroids and things like that, but I also still sound probably slightly off. Because my sutures, my stitches, are still in there, so part of my gums and teeth and whatnot are sewed together, so it feels weird speaking. But my S's and P's and things like that are not natural feeling. I don't know if I do sound weird, but yeah, so everything's good there. And I've still been playing a ton of Firefall. In fact, the game came out last Tuesday. As I'm recording this on Saturday, it hasn't even been out for a week, and yet I've already logged, according to Steam, like 34, 35 hours. That's ridiculous, seeing as how most people, generally work a 40-hour week, and I've been playing this game almost that amount. It's kind of bad admitting that. That's a lot of time dedicated, especially since I've also rocked out some Warframe and Battlefield here and there. But I have been playing a ton of Firefall, and what you're seeing here in the background is I've been playing the game maybe an hour or 2 hours in. This is very early on in the gameplay, real early level. This is kind of like what you would say, I guess, is the very first instance in the game, in which you go through a loading screen. It takes you out of the main area, and you're with other people that are doing the instance. And actually, I'm not even with any of the TG guys. This is before I even introduced the TG guys to the game. And so this is just me and some random pub. I have no idea who this guy is. So, and this was probably the first part that truly blew me away in the game and truly made me feel like, alright, there's a lot of potential. Like, visually, this is stunning. And I should also add, this is not the game running on Ultra. When I first loaded in, and I was in Copacabana, which is the main, like, hub area where everybody starts the game out, and you'll be there for your first, like, until you get to, like, level 6. That's where you are, and the frame rate was just so horrendous there that I turned down a lot of my settings, and each time I turned them down, I was noticing it really wasn't making too much an impact, at which point I realized that it's not necessarily the graphics that were giving me trouble. It was all CPU side. When I was looking at my the performance of my stuff versus what was happening in game, I quickly, after the first day of playing this, I realized it's not the graphics. So since then, I have cranked everything up, and holy crap, this game just gives you so many options for your visual fidelity. So many things you have an off setting, you have very low, low, medium, high, very high, and then you have ultra high. So the amount of customization that you can do there is just, it's amazing. And then they have tons of different settings like anti-aliasing and ambient occlusion and a lot of stuff it's just you toggle it on or you toggle it off. There's not really a different gradient to it. So I've now since turned everything that I like, things like bloom, out of that I don't really enjoy that in any game. So things like that are off. VSync is off, but everything else is on ultra. Even shadows, and I typically don't have shadows on ultra in a lot of games because they can be a system hog, but I've got them on ultra, and I'm always getting well over 100 frames, just 120. When there are big epic fights where there's like 100 enemies on screen, then I do find my frame rate stumbling. And when I'm in these main hub areas where there's dozens and dozens of other players and dozens of other NPCs and a lot of other stuff going on, then yes, my CPU does a little bit of struggling, which is, I guess, the game. I'm hoping they're trying to optimize for multi-core and things of that sort, and can take advantage of hyper-threading, because other than that, the game runs flawlessly, and I have it cranked out. So the next bit of footage that you guys see that I put out on my channel is going to be of the game running in ultra settings, and it just looks so stunning. The art style here in this area just looks amazing. It just always reminds me of things like Avatar, the James Cameron movie. There's so many things where just visually, there's so many dynamic lights. There's so many things that put off light. The only thing that would make this game better from a graphical aesthetic standpoint would be the addition of NVIDIA's PhysX. I know it's a system hog, but I mean, my system, I've got it built to where I can do things like PhysX. That's one of the reasons why I build a computer that costs the extent that I do and rebuild a whole new computer every 2 years, which is much more often than anybody needs to, is because I want to be able to use a lot of the graphical effects like PhysX that are very demanding and still be able to even record and play at over 100 frames per second and try to as close to get to 120 frames per second. So this game is just blowing me away at this point when I'm doing this instance or whatever. I'm not the biggest MMO fan, so a lot of these terms are things that I'm getting used to, like this whole need or greed. When you're with a party and you pick up certain items, you need or greed. I was doing it opposite for the longest time. I thought greed was one where you want it more than you do for need. But at this point, this instance it really gave me the idea, and the gameplay is very cool. You start out like defending it, and you're fighting these different types of enemies that are very melee focused, and then it totally shifts, and you're now doing like it's not really capture the flag, but you're capturing these different things, and so and when you pick them up, you cannot fight. You can use abilities, but you can't use your gun, you can't melee and things like that, so actually you might be able to melee. And it really changes it up because at that point you're now fighting enemies that are all using ranged. They got guns and things of that sort, so it really changed it up, and you went from just sitting shooting things that are having to walk towards you when you've got a gun and they're all melee, to now you're very vulnerable because you have to grab these things, and it's not just one thing. You've got to grab like 6 or 7 of these things to get them up there, and you're fighting enemies that can use ranged attacks, and you become very vulnerable, and it really just impresses upon the whole. This is a game that's going to require a lot of teamwork, and there's going to be a lot of things that just change. You could be doing something, and all of a sudden it just totally changes on you, and the situation is just drastically different, and it really impressed that upon you very early on within the first couple hours of playing the game. And I thought that was really cool. So this very first mission impresses, actually from the get-go the game impresses with its graphical fidelity, but now it's really pushing you with the different the different environments, and now it's really pushing the whole drastic changing situations that you're going to be in, which I think is key for any MMO. You don't want to just, me personally, I don't want to grind, and so the fact that you're going to see this level of diversity is awesome, and the fact that it impresses upon the need for teamwork, I think is awesome, all within this one mission. And so it was mind-blowing what this had done, and at this point I realized that, alright, I'm going to spend a lot of time in this game assuming they keep this up and keep the amount of content fresh, and that I don't just keep doing fetch quests over and over. And so, does the game have a lot of fetch quests? Yes. There's a level of fetch quests there. There's a lot of movement going on, and it started to grind on me, and it really started to wear me out, but I was missing out on a key aspect that made traversing the world very easy. I was walking a lot of places, and there's a lot of the little jump pads that actually allow you to do the glide, so I guess just glide pad, and it makes traversing the environment incredibly fast. And then I also ended up getting one of the LGV. I always want to say LVG because from Battlefield you got the LVG grenade thing, but the whatever it is, the motorcycle. I ended up snagging one of those off of the marketplace. I still have yet to spend a single penny on this game. I'm going to buy the digital deluxe, yeah, whatever, the $100 package. I'm gonna get that on Steam. This game is just so good. I've already spent 30 plus hours into it. I can easily see myself getting into the hundreds of hours for this game. So I really do want to compensate these developers for what they've done. Even though I've already funded the game back in the day, you'll see that I have the founder title. So I've actually already spent money in the game. I don't remember how much it was. I could go look at my credit card history and see what I did. But I just want to fund these guys again. They've done an amazing job with this game, and it's been in development hell for so long that it's really not getting that much attention from the press. So I just want to. I don't care if the game falls out and it doesn't exist for a year. From what I've enjoyed so far, and whatnot, these guys deserve my money. So I ended up getting one of the vehicles, and yeah, it has made traversing the world so much faster that and you don't have to wait for this vehicle to cool down, unlike the jump pad that you have. So traversing the environment has become incredibly simple, and the game is just so enjoyable, even in solo mode, when nobody on TG is on and I'm just by myself and whatnot. It's still enjoyable to do these missions. They're actually very varied. There's still a lot of fetch quests in there, but that's up to you. You don't have to accept them. You don't have to do these fetch quests to continue the game. There's very much a campaign storyline that is very action-packed. You guys are going to see me upload some footage of these instances that are part of the storyline aspect, and they are just an immense amount of fun, very different. Not one is like the other. I mean, it's just incredible. I am blown away, and I haven't even seen half the content that's out there. I'm not even up to rank 40. I've only done one character so far. I mean, I'm just blown away. So guys, check this game out if your computer can run it. I'm sure if you turn the settings all on low, anything out there that's come out in the last 5 years would probably be able to run this thing. It's free to play, only 8 gigs on Steam. Check it out. Add me in game if you guys do. My character or account name or whatever you want to call it is Craig1287. No TGX like I do for Origin, for Battlefield, or anything like that. Just Craig1287, exactly how it's written here in YouTube. So check it out. Add me on there and just join me in some quests. Have some fun in this amazingly beautiful game that is just, I'm truly blown away. Guys, check it out. I hope you've enjoyed the gameplay. Have a good one. Ta-ta.